Hello crafters, welcome to Create at Home with G and today's video. In today's video I'm going to be doing my last design team project for August, and I'm going to be using the stamp sets Full Stitched Up, Happy Fall, Bush Learner Peck and Pumpkin Heads. So I'm going to be using those. I'm going to be doing a 6x4 card with you today, and I'm going to be using a craft colour cardstock for my base, and I have a white insert. I'm going to be using the art glitter glue. I'm going to be using some silver pigment ink, my Memento, a black Sharpie. I'm going to be using the Special Mars Sparkle pens, and I'm going to be using, if I can find the names, Harvest Moon and Smoke Quartz. I'm going to be using a water brush, stamp blocks. Oh, and there is another stamp set from May I'm using, and that is this one here, and this is called Background Builder, and I'm going to be using the raindrops, so I'm going to be using that one also. Art glitter glue, some foam, adhesive pads. I'm going to be using my corner chomper, the 1/2 inch, and I'm going to be using the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, the Distress Ink Victoria Velvet, and the Oxide Fossilized Amber. So the first thing I need to do is I need a 6x4 card insert. So I'm just going to see if this bit of scrap paper will measure up. No, it's too small. So I'm just using some scraps. What about this one? Is this 6 inches? Oh, have I got two there? Yes, I have. So I need it to be 6 inches. Yep, I need it to be 4 inches. So 6x4. And I'm going to bring over my scrap book, and I'm going to be using the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide and an ink blending tool. At the bottom, I'm going to come in from the outside edge inwards in a rotating motion, and I'm going to create a base. So this is going to be kind of a sunset, sunrise card. So I'm going to use the brown as kind of the earth, the floor. Going to come up about 2 inches. Then I'm going to transfer over to the pink, which is Victorian Velvet, and now this is just the Distress ink. And again, coming in from the side, making sure that the colours overlap. Okay, and then swapping over to the next colour, and that is the Fossilized Amber in the Distress Oxide, and I'm going to do that the rest of the way, but I'm going to leave a section in the middle kind of open, just to hint that that's the sun, just to give it a hint that that is the sun or the moon. Again, overlapping the colours. Okay, so we get that. Okay, and then I'm going to use the silver pigment ink and the raindrops from May stamp set. What's it called now? Background Builder. And I'm going to stamp some of the raindrops onto my card base. I wanted to use the silver so they don't stand out, so they can just blend into the background. So just bring that up to you. They're kind of subtle, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want them to overtake the background. So that's that. Now I'm going to move my card insert out the way, and I'm going to bring over some scrap white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp out 3 pumpkins. Now this is the pumpkin from Pumpkinhead, this is the pumpkin from, let me just get my, this is the pumpkin from A Bush Down the Peck, and the small pumpkin is from Happy Fall. So using the Memento ink, I am going to stamp those out. So that's the large, the small, the medium, sorry, and the small. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry for a few moments, because obviously I'm going to do some watercolour on them, and I'm going to be using these 2 sparkle pens. So I'm just going to let that dry for a few moments. That's drying, I'm going to put that to one side. I am going to do my card base so it matches my insert. Let's get rid of that scrap piece of paper. And like I said, I'm using my crocodile, the corner jumper, and I'm using the 1/2 inch. So I'll have, I really do love to give my cards this added detail of the 2 rounded edge. You could do all 4 if you wanted. You could leave it plain. It's up to you what jumper you used. If you didn't want to do it at all, it's entirely your choice. And I'm going to adhere these pieces into the card while we wait for the Memento ink to dry, because I don't want it to bleed when I do the watercolouring on it. So one of the challenges the design team were given was to create cards using the colours pink, brown and orange, and as you can see with this card I have definitely hit that challenge, so woohoo me. So hopefully these are dry now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my watercolour brush, and I'm going to put some water on the insides of these pumpkins. I don't think it's fully dry. And I'm going to use the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. Back to the watercolour brush, and I'm going to move that colour around just so I have the kind of darker saturation to one side to give it some shadow. Can go back and I can give it some more just to give it the darker coloration I want. Okay, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to cut it out. I don't need the stem from this one or this one, but I will cut the stem out on that one. So I'm going to let this dry, then cut them out. Okay, crafters, so I have those all cut out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over my pumpkin that I've cut, and I'm going to go around the edge using the Sharpie just to give it that finished look, because obviously when you're freehanding sometimes the cutting isn't perfect. So I'm just going to use the Sharpie just to go around the edges, and I tend to turn it over, so if I slip on the back rather than on the front where I've stamped. So there's a quick tip for you, and see, that just gives it more of a finished look. So on the back of this one now, I'm going to put 2 layers of foam, these foam squares. Now these are, I think these are about 1/2 inch. They're 3/4 of an inch square. Just to give you the size, it doesn't matter what you use. You can just use the foam that May stocks, which is the lovely Beam Me Up Scotty. And then I'm going to put one that I've cut in half on the middle pumpkin. And then the last pumpkin I'm going to glue straight down onto the surface. But on the bottom here, I am going to put some of the brown sparkle Spectrum Noir, just to give these pumpkins some foundation. And again, using the watercolor brush to give it the finished effect. Okay, so we go to the first pumpkin, and that has the double layer, remember? Take that off. And I want the darker colours to be to my left. We go to the second pumpkin, and because it only has the one layer, I can tuck that behind. And then this lovely one from the Happy Fall set, I am going to glue directly onto the card base. And then up here where we created the space for the sun, the moon, whatever you want, I'm going to use a sentiment from, I think it's Full Stitched Up, yep, and it says my favourite colour is autumn. No, autumn is my favourite colour, and I'm going to stamp that right up here. And that, my crafty chums, is the card done. Very simple, but I think it has a lovely impact. So there's one, and then here's another one that I did using a different sentiment, wishing you a beautiful season. But I just love the way that this brown here kind of grounds the pumpkins, and then obviously the shading. But very, very simple, but I think has a very nice impact. And obviously you've got the white insert for you to write your sentiment, your message on the inside. So there we go, crafters. That's my last one for this month. Thank you very much for joining me, and you'll see me again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.